win the 2025 2A Penguins Cup, and Ethan Cunningham is a local hero.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
As they say in PIHL hockey, let's do that PIHL hockey. Hello, good evening, and welcome, and happy Halloween Eve from the Baierl Toyota Ice Complex here inside the Galaxy Rink in Warrendale, Pennsylvania for a special standalone edition of PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the James D'Angelo Foundation. Tonight, a big showdown in PIHL Class 3A to wind down the week as the Peters Township Indians in black and red visit the defending 3A state champion Seneca Valley Raiders in white. And we saw the Raiders and the Indians collide in the PIHL Charities Tournament Final the last time they were together under the proverbial 10-band TV microscope. And Seneca Valley won that game in mercy rule fashion and won back-to-back PIHL Charities Tournament championships. Jeff Morrow, the local high school hockey historian, was in the building earlier tonight. He was in the building that night as well, and I remember when speaking with him, he said this Seneca Valley team, the way they played, reminded him a lot of those Meadville teams of the early 90s. As a gentle reminder, that was one of the greatest dynasties, if not the greatest, in the history of Western PA high school hockey. It's a long season. Lots can still happen. The Indians will certainly provide stiff competition tonight, but when a man who's been around as long as he gives you that kind of praise, it's a tell. And the Raiders, 12 straight wins across all competitions against PIHL foes, dating back to last year's Penguins Cup playoffs. And to this point, 4-0 to start this season. They've been thriving under that pressure. They seem to enjoy wearing that target on their backs. And Carter and Cooper Hain, the brothers, are having another fine start to their campaign for Tyler Masiska's Raiders. Carter, an all-star last year, wearing number 29 in right. The defenseman, only 3 goals all of last year, but 2 of them were overtime winners. The first of those 3 was an overtime winner against Peters Township, the last time these teams played in this building last October. The second one put his team in the Penguins Cup championship game. And Cooper Hain, the sophomore for Seneca Valley, he's chasing an all-star nod of his own this season. 5 goals to start his campaign to co-lead the Raiders coming into tonight's contest. Hain had a pair of goals in that preseason meeting against Peters Township. The Indians, for their part, are led by a second-year head coach of their own, Chris Claxon, and they look like a completely different hockey team than the one that was really struggling and going through a rebuild last season, a rare down year in 24-25 for Peters. Not so to begin 25-26. They've won 3 of their first 4, coming off their first loss of the season, granted a 6-1 setback at the hands of North Allegheny at the Prinscape Arena on Tuesday night. But they're going to remember that preseason meeting. They know when they're getting their butts whipped. They're as human as their opponent is, and they're going to come out to this one with something to prove. Peters Township, led by Jake Luwadi, number 59, 7 points. He had 7 in the preseason as well. He is among the leading scorers in Class 3A. Shea LaMagna, also one to watch for the Indians, wearing number 9 in black. He's an exciting sophomore, just like Cooper Hain, who we talked about a moment ago. He had a hat trick the last time we saw him play in this rink, the Galaxy Rink, against Pine Richland. One thing that's turning heads, as it usually does when we're watching Peters Township play, is the young man in goal. Who's going to start for this team? We used to play musical goalies, so to speak, when Rick Tingle was still the head coach, and we're doing a little bit of that to begin this season as Chris Claxon has been bouncing between Jordan Cox and Anthony Herman, the Baldwin transfer, and Herman will be the one getting the start in goal against the Raiders tonight. He started that PIHL Charities Tournament final against Seneca Valley and was pulled after a rocky first period. At the other end for Seneca Valley, who else but the senior all-star Chris Nichols, the Post-Gazette Stellar 6 selection last season, a 24-save shutout in that Charities Tournament final, 3-0 to begin this season with a .929 save percentage. Always a pleasure to watch these two teams compete. North versus South, two of the top programs in the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League's top flight. And for the home team, Tyler Maxwell controls the opening faceoff and plays it into Peters Township ice. The Indians play it into their own bench, and so we get our first whistle just 9 seconds in. Seneca Valley attacking left to right on your TV, computer, or mobile device to begin the contest. And the Raiders have a powwow before this face-off to Herman's right. The 259s going at it. Soroka, John Soroka that is, against Lawadi. The shot from the point by Cooler is blocked. Soroka from the half wall to the corner where it's cut off by Peters Township. Lawadi's going to play it himself off the glove hand of Blake Avancic. Seneca Valley puts it off the glass. Cutting toward the net was Soroka, but the Raiders are offside. Seneca Valley coming off one of their closer wins in some time, a 4-2 result over Upper St. Clair here at the Baierl Complex the last time they played, last Thursday night. Raiders only 4 goals allowed on the season, tied with NA for the fewest in 3A, entering Thursday. Gilbert pulls up at the half wall from the point. That shot was deflected, never made it through. Lindbergh had his stick tied up by Dan Kovac, the Peters Township captain. Kovac's older brother Ben, a former PIHL All-Star and state champion with the Indians in 2022. Carter Manili dumps it in. Indians go for a quick change. Michael Brown with a turnover, but Peters Township this time is whistled for the offside. Zach Manili just a little bit ahead of his time. And they'll drop it in front of the Seneca Valley bench. Raiders doing well for themselves at the faceoff dot early on. Benkin and Scrates, the USA hockey crew, responsible for dropping the pucks tonight. Indians deep in Raider territory. Nick Caputo trying to play it out in front. C.J. Gawarek from his own boards, met there by Cam Reyes. Luke Myers, who had a hat trick in that PIHL Charities Tournament final, bumped at center as the Indians dump the puck once more. Aiden Garvin gets it as far as the Peters blue line. Indians will play dump and chase once again. Nichols, the goaltender, the first one on at this time. Garvin will give chase once more. Angelo Maeda unable to exit the zone. Jack Kubastek will give it a go, and he succeeds. Puck off one of the Raiders, no icing. Carter Hain, the Raider captain. Talked about his offensive heroics in pregame. Of course, he's a rock on that Seneca Valley blue line for Tyler Masiska. Raiders defending very well as a team throughout that championship run last season and to start the new campaign as well. Carter Hain, a big part of that stability. Maxwell from the point. That's deflected behind Herman. Seneca keeps it inside the zone temporarily before it squirts free to Avancic. Avancic 1 against 3. Nichols plays it to his captain. Soroka from center. Splits the D, forgot the puck. It went right to Eric Schleiper, the Peters Township junior. Up to Lawadi. Lawadi 1-on-3, and he almost beat them all. Monko's blast off the blocker hand of Nichols. Schleiper with a keep. That'll sail wide. Kohler from deep in his own zone. Harassed by Avancic, but gets it up to center. Owen Martin trying to slip it to Soroka. And Soroka, the alternate captain, had trouble with that pass, but does get it eventually out in front. Kohler working with that puck, lost it. Monko and company supporting their goaltender as the Indians play it up to center. Lawadi draws a double team. Make it a triple team. And there's a turnover to Jake Gilbert. Now Gilbert 1 against 3. And that was no contest for Maeda. Lawadi from the neutral zone. Up for Tommy Dowden. Dowden's first ever varsity goal came last October 17th against these Raiders. Brown gains the red line, sends it deep. Herman will play it conservatively 5 minutes into a scoreless game. Herman 2-0 to begin his first season in Peters Township red, white, and black. 350 goals against, 825 save percentage. His last decision, a victory in this barn 3 weeks ago against Pine Richland. Off the draw, it's high and wide. From center, Kovac turns it over to Bailey. Bailey paired out here with Brown on this shift. Kubastek beyond his Peters Township line mates. Maxwell giving ground. Brown on second thought decides to go to Maxwell. Maxwell to Gawarek. Gawarek to the goal. Saved by Herman. The rebound batted toward goal. Save again, and the follow-up is fanned on. Myers was right there. Couldn't get a clean stick on it. A break for the Indians early in the first. Peters Township clears it. It'll stay in play off the scorers table, but it goes the rest of the rink for icing. One of 2 Class 3A games ongoing here at the Baierl Toyota Ice Complex. North Allegheny and Franklin Regional competing concurrently in the World Rink. Bob Orkowitz and Lee Moon with a call of that one for our friends at the North Allegheny Sports Network. From distance, the shot by Hain is denied by Herman. They work it up to Carter Hain one more time. His snapper. That's off the blocker hand of Anthony Herman. Caputo plays it off Maxwell. Caputo persisting. He's taken down. Penalty coming up on the Raiders. Hooking the call with 10:27 to go in period 1. The first penny power play of the night belongs to the Peters Township Indians with the game scoreless. Seneca Valley entering Thursday, the only team in 3A yet to allow a power play goal this season. But for how much longer? The Indians get their turn right now. Peters 2 of 6 on power plays to begin their young season. Monko from center point. Side of the net, it was intended for Avancic, but broken up by Moreau. And the Raiders clear it. Soroka got it the rest of the way. Maxwell, the senior D-man, the guilty party. Indians on the power play. Monco, the alternate captain with a zone entry. Lawadi couldn't keep it in, though. More good work by Soroka on the PK. Under 10 to go in the first. 1:20 to go in the Peters power play. Avancic tries to use the boards to his advantage, but nobody there to retrieve that puck in a black jersey. Schleiper with a dump in. Goes to work with LaMagna. Schleiper wins the battle to Lawadi. Lawadi gets rid of it quickly, a bit too quickly for Schleiper. LaMagna ties up his man. Avancic reaching for it. Monco pinching. Brendan Monco, the Penn's Elite product to Avancic. Avancic through a crowd. That caught off LaMagna in front, it looked like. Monco with the rebound, tied up immediately. Raiders still unable to clear it. Avancic under duress, sends it to the corner. Matt Bailey up but not out. Schleiper keeps it in, and Carter Hayne finally gets it back to the Peters Township blue line. Both teams making changes with 15 to go in the minor on Maxwell. Maeda with a steal. Maeda down the middle for Lawadi. Monco backing up the play. Lawadi behind the net. Stick check by Valella. And that'll do it. Raiders back to full strength. Make it 11 of 11 for the Seneca Valley penalty kill. At the side of the net, Lawadi didn't get everything he wanted on that. From the point, Nichols got a piece. Kubastek shot it. No icing. Kubastek has to go fetch. Past the midpoint of this scoreless first period. Moreau, near side. That's cut out by Carter Manili. Moreau ducking around a check. Angelo Maeda floats it into the Raiders zone. Peters Township tagging up. Raiders send it to the vacant left wing where it's played by Dom Yossi. Manili back for Yossi of the Indians. Taken over by Moreau. Moreau slips it up the right wing to Lindbergh. Carson Lindbergh from the corner. Around the stick of Maeda. With it now Kubastek. Nichols behind the net. Ethan Reif. On for the first time tonight for Tyler Masiska. Reif near corner. Down low for Lindbergh. Manili. Lost possession of that puck. Good work down low by Gilbert to get it to the point. Maxwell chases it to the boards. Dowden unable to clear it. Good forecheck here by the Raiders. Carter Haynes shooting through a crowd. Not sure what that puck hit or where it went, but the Indians have it. And Luke Best, the sophomore, gets it the rest of the way. Gilbert in the corner, worked over by Maeda. Gilbert from his knees sends it to Reif. Reif from the right circle, up top to Maxwell. Maxwell shooting. That hit something in front. Indians try to get the transition game going, but the pass was too strong for Dowden. And now we get a whistle with under 6 to go as one of the Raiders is shaken up. Gilbert being helped to his feet by one of the officials, and now he'll be helped off the ice by Ethan Reif. We'll step aside quickly with no score between Peters Township and Seneca Valley on TenbandTV.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
And fortunately, we are back just as quickly here to the Baierl Complex in Warrendale. Jake Gilbert, 5 goals to start his season, co-leading Seneca Valley entering Thursday. Injured moments ago. And we're quickly back to action now with the faceoff coming to the right of Seneca Valley goaltender Chris Nichols. Raiders continue to dominate faceoffs. Played with the raised stick of Dom Fata, making his PIHL varsity debut here for the Raiders. The freshman up to Villela. Villela to the corner. Maeda. Watson couldn't keep it inside the line. And so Brady Watson, another recent varsity debutant, will force the face-off in Peters Township ice. That freshman making his first appearance at Fox Chapel a couple weeks ago. Well, the Indians finally do win a faceoff, and Monco controls it defensively for Peters Township. Avancic plays it to the corner. Maxwell to Gwarek on his left. Gwarek's pass by everything and everybody, giving chase Aiden Garvin, but it comes right to Anthony Herman. Lawadi wins it to Schleiper. LaMagna colliding with one of the Raiders. Lawadi playing that puck now on the back check for Peters Township. Maxwell plays it off one of the Indians. That was Lawadi, and Lawadi has this puck for Peters. LaMagna gets blasted up high as play continues. The Raiders packing it in front of goaltender Nichols as Schleiper goes to the corner. Indians play it into Seneca Valley ice. Nichols off his line to control it. And he'll play it carefully just past LaMagna for Luke Myers. Myers from the off wing. Kick save by Herman, and it goes out of action. Ben Barrett on to take it against Soroka. Soroka wins it for Brown. Looking for the deflection with Soroka, and a good hustle play, heady play, I should say, by Kubastek to get to that loose puck and send it to the boards. Kohler, high and wide. Bailey, it deflects in! It was tipped in front. The Raiders have taken a 1-0 lead with 3:48 remaining in the first period. Soroka got the last stick on it. Pay the man, Shirley. Seneca Valley jumps on top late. Third of the year for the Raiders senior. Games between these two teams are usually so tight that it often takes something silly to open it up. A deflection, a mistake, something unorthodox. And the Raiders get a little bit of puck luck there on the tip-in from Soroka. And they draw first blood here in this Class 3A contest. And that's the way it is. Soroka from Bailey officially. Bailey's second helper of the young season. And a near giveaway in a very dangerous spot to Kovac. If Kovac gets that cleanly, it's a 1-1 game like that. Dowden in front. That's denied by Nichols. This puck still available. The Raiders control it. Moreau looking for an out. He'll just play it off the boards, and it'll go deep into Indians territory. Monco from his own end. Off the scores table and long enough for icing. And we sure saw Soroka score some big ones last season, especially during that playoff run. 2-goal effort in the Penguins Cup semifinals against Upper St. Clair, a game that was won by Carter Hayne. Herman will freeze that one. Soroka with 6 points altogether in that 2025 postseason, including states. 12 points in the preseason to unofficially lead the PIHL Charities Tournament. Seneca Valley winning that event for a second consecutive year back in September. So we'll do it again from the same spot, and Soroka will stay on to take it. Chris Claxon wants a fresh unit out there in contrast. Lawadi matched up against the alternate captain, and Soroka has it behind the Peters Township goal. From the circle, Herman the blocker save. Lawadi up the boards. Moreau on net, and Herman will snatch that one. The Raiders tilting the ice late in period one with a 1-0 lead. Opening up a 10-4 shot advantage, including the tip-in goal by Soroka. LaMagna gets it deep for Peters Township. Maxwell takes it over, but turned it over to Lawadi. Lawadi from an angle. Nichols closed down the angle and deflected it out of play. And we talked last week when we saw South Fayette about that Penguins Cup final game between the Raiders and South Fayette. Jackson Ankram's league record, 62 saves in the championship game, a losing effort for the Lions. Nichols had 48 stops in that game for Seneca Valley. Ankram will be remembered for that performance, but what Nichols did that night certainly shouldn't be overlooked. A 3-overtime final, the longest in PIHL Class 3A history. Lawadi tries to send it across two lines, but the Raiders have the neutral zone covered. Maxwell met by the stick of Avancic. Aiden Garvin gains center red and sends it around the dasher. Gawarek anticipating. Played outside the zone by the Indians. Moreau with it for the Raiders as we approach the final minute of period one. Moreau has a trailer in Garvin. Picked off by Manili. From behind his own net, Monco out of play. They say 1 minute. The clock here at the Galaxy rink says 59 ticks to talk on the nose with this faceoff coming in Peters Township ice. Indians play the puck behind their own net. It's out in front. Only one there for either side was Kubistek. Kovac stripped of the puck at center, but Peters Township recovers. Herman lets it go for Maeda. Maeda off the boards. Intercepted by Watson. Kovac swipes at it. Dowden up to Kovac. Kovac sandwiched by Watson and Fada. Kubastek with 20 to go in the period for Peters Township. Now Moreau in his own corner, met by a couple of Indians. 10 seconds remaining. Raiders win the battle. Moreau will take matters into his own hands. Stewart has to hurry. He'll set up Moreau. Moreau sends it, saved by Herman right before the buzzer. And officials will let that buzzer sound and forego the obligatory face-off in Peters Township ice. A low event first period until John Soroka piped up and deflected a puck behind Herman to give the Raiders a 1-0 lead. Matt Popchock here for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the D'Angelo Foundation.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
First period shots on goal. Seneca Valley Raiders 11, Peters Township Indians 5. Where it counts, the Raiders lead 1-0 on John Soroka's third goal of the season. The side switch has occurred, and these teams are back to action at the Baierl Toyota Ice Complex in Warrendale. Herman making that save, which deflects off the back of the Peters Township cage. Raiders keep it in at the point for Carter Hain. Reif, his pass cut off by Monco. Lawadi through center, flanked by Avancic. Lawadi around him, and Lawadi to the goal. Lawadi shoots it upstairs on Nichols, but missed the target. A great individual effort there by the Indians' scoring co-leader. 7 points for Lawadi and Shea LaMagna apiece coming into this game. Kovac with a steal, Indians with numbers. Kovac shooting on Nichols. He makes that save, and it comes out the other end right to Carter Manili. Peters Township, as Herman covers, in the unenviable position of having to chase the game against one of the most stubborn defensive teams in PIHL hockey, but getting a couple of quality chances early on in period two. Raiders win the offensive zone face-off. And pinching to keep that play alive was Brown. Soroka in front. That pass just beyond the reach of Kohler. Kohler pinned up against the corner by Carter Manili. Maeda trying to take Owen Martin out of the play. Maeda with a check there on Soroka as play continues. From right point, that shot by Brown is denied by Herman. Dowden dumps it in off Nichols' blocker hand at the other end. Brown unable to control that outlet pass. Maeda sends it deep into Seneca Valley ice. Deep enough for icing. James D'Angelo was a former Peters Township and California Vulcans hockey player who embodied many valuable traits, but tragically lost his life in an electric shock drowning incident in 2021. The James D'Angelo Foundation has been created as a system of support for his family, and your support has made a difference, including $10,000 for the ESD Prevention Association and thousands more for the Peters Township Hockey Association and its locker room renovation project. Visit jamesdangelo.weebly.com to give what you are able to today. Indians trailing at Seneca Valley 1-0 early in period 2. Matt Popchock for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented tonight by the D'Angelo Foundation. Schleiper and one of the Raiders colliding in the circle. That's Gawarek, as Reyes was unable to clear it. Zach Manili taken down behind the net. He's working over Gawarek. Moreau puts it right into the body of Schleiper, and Schleiper gets a clear for Peters Township. Villela gets it as far as the blue line, where Schleiper is waiting once again. Raiders in a bit of disarray at center as the Indians go after this puck. And a lead pass to LaMagna. LaMagna to the goal, misses to the near post. Nichols will snatch that one vis-a-vis Maeda and hang on. LaMagna, 4 goals to lead the Indians. Looked like he might have Nichols at his mercy, but couldn't put it on frame. LaMagna with that big hat trick, his first varsity hat trick 3 weeks ago in this building. Peters Township pulling away late that evening for a road win at Pine Richland. Around the boards, it'll come to Lindbergh. Gilbert slips around Maeda. Gilbert to the goal. Good poke check there by Herman. The follow-up is put in! Carson Lindbergh on the follow-up, and wanted to take a picture. It'll last longer. The Raiders make it a 2-0 game with 13:07 to play in the second. Go to the net, kids. Remember what your coaches say, and Lindbergh did just that. 2 of those 13 Seneca Valley seniors getting into the act tonight, each with goal number 3 on their respective seasons. Soroka in the first, and now Lindbergh in the second, as you heard Herman make that save from next door. Icing on Peters Township. Tyler Masiska changing lines before this face-off. One of his freshmen takes it. That's Watson, and puts it off of Anthony Herman in one fell swoop. Watson across the attacking line, dropping for Fada. And a penalty coming up against Peters Township. Seneca Valley, last year second on the power play in Class 3A. 3 of 6 to start this season. They get their first penny power play of the night and a chance to add to this 2-goal advantage with 12.5 till the ice cut. Peters Township, 2 of their first 4 on the PK this season. Lindbergh going down in the corner. Hain to Maxwell. Out in front it comes. Backhand try. Herman might have gotten a piece of that with his right foot. Lindbergh with the rebound. Hain calling for it, but it comes to the right point for Soroka. To the side of the net. Oh, a good read there by Schleiper. Maxwell was wide open at the near post. Good play by Hain at the blue line. Near side Maxwell. Maxwell in front, deflected off of Herman. Indians having trouble clearing it. Raiders take it back. Turnaround shot. Gilbert puts it off Herman, and he gets the rebound. Herman makes that save. And it goes up into the protective netting behind the Peters Township netminder. A minute 14 to go. In the minor on Alex Naff, the Peters Township senior. LaMagna tied up in the circle. Maxwell at the point for Hain. Going down Soroka, another penalty coming up against the Indians. Coming off for the extra skater is Nichols, and the Raiders will just turn it over voluntarily. That's a smart play by the captain, Carter Hain, to maximize the two-man advantage. And that two-man power play will last 58 seconds as Angelo Maeda will feel shame for 2 minutes and then get free. Tripping the call against the junior. And we've got a coach's timeout. We'll step aside as well. 11:29 to go in the second period. Seneca Valley 2, Peters Township nothing on 10-band TV.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used.
Back to action here at the Baierl Toyota Ice Complex, where the Seneca Valley Raiders have scored twice, and now they have a two-man advantage and a chance to open the floodgates here with 11 minutes to play in period 2. Indians get a couple of clears to start their 3-against-5 penalty kill. Gilbert hits the brakes. Back to Carter Hain. Cross ice it comes to Soroka. Hain, side of the net, Gilbert. Gilbert's shot off the side of the net. Raiders on top of the rebound. Lindbergh, cross ice. Soroka in front of his own bench for Hain at center point. Hain shoots it off a stick, that of LaMagna. And the shot by Gilbert goes just wide. Lindbergh to Hain. Good puck movement by the Raiders. Soroka's shot blocked. It's loose in front of Herman. Raiders can't smash in that rebound, and it's forced back to center by LaMagna. It's now a conventional power play for Seneca Valley as LaMagna shoots shorthanded off the glove of Nichols. .40 to go in the minor on Maeda. Raiders in the middle of changing their power play unit. That generates a turnover in Peters Township's favor. Lead pass too strong for Kovac. Kovac from the corner. Well, minimally, he's able to kill some more time off the penalty clock. But it looked like the Indians might have a chance shorthanded against the Raiders, who force a faceoff in Peters Township territory with 23 to go in the remaining penny power play. Now, Chris Claxon knows you can't take those timeouts back to Cannonsburg with you. And certainly sensing as we do that this is a pivotal moment in this game. Again, Peters Township trying to play damage control and keep it a 2-goal deficit. And it looks like the Indians are going to be able to do that, barring a very fervent and late rush here by the Raiders. Moreau ahead for Reif. Reif above the circle. That shot blocked by Schleiper. Maeda to the bench. Peters Township has killed them both. Indians down but not out. Reif keeping this puck for the Raiders. And we get a stoppage as Kubastek and Gwarek are tied up, and Gwarek's going to go, and Kubastek, I think, is going to as well. Yeah, they're going to send them both. Offsetting interference calls against Gwarek and Kubastek. So we remain at 5-on-5 with 9:18 till the ice cut as the terrestrial clock here in Warrendale has just struck 10. Indians win the own zone draw. Played legally with a hand by Maxwell, but Peters Township has it. Dowden up the left wing, trying to drop it, and does for Monco. Monco backhanding it off Nichols. Maeda, cross ice for Monco. Monco down low for Avancic. Avancic for Monco. Monco forcing the save from Nichols. They say coincidental holding minors, not interference minors, but potato. Midway through the second period and game, the Indians on the forecheck trailing by a deuce. From the side of the net, Lawadi shooting and missing off the heel of his stick. One of the better shifts in this game by Peters Township, but nothing to show for it as the Raiders clear it up to Lindbergh. Owen Martin, 1 against 2. Martin taking his man wide. Wraparound try. Herman got over there in time. Two-line pass, well beyond the purview of Dowden. Settled down by Nichols. Seneca Valley surveying the play, and they get it up to Fada. Sent in by Kohler. Soroka to the corner. Fada worked over by Lawadi. Bailey through a sea of skates. Brown pinching, shrugs off the check. Maeda plays it in front to Monco. Monco content to ice this puck for Peters Township. And both coaches are going to make changes before this face-off in Indians ice. Raiders extending their lead here in period 2. Officially that Lindbergh goal, by the way, reading Lindbergh from Gilbert and Reif. Jake Gilbert up to 8 points now on his senior season. What a nice start for him. Indians with a possible 2-on-1 here. Caputo, Yossi shooting. Nichols says, Only his 12th save of the night, but you better believe there's some quality shots in that dozen. Peters Township starting to get some looks at the PIHL All-Star here in the second period, but still haven't gotten one past them. They win the face-off to Schleiper. Schleiper, that's sticked aside by Nichols. Loose in front. Nichols quick to cover inside the crease as emotions run high. Caputo getting involved. Ditto Manili. Gilbert pulling away one of the Indians from one of his teammates. That's Yossi, the freshman, in the thick of that little fracas. And we're going to get more coincidental minor penalties here, it appears. Villela and Carter Manili both being sent off. with just over 7 remaining in the period. Indians starting to tip the scales a little bit on faceoffs. They were outperformed badly in the faceoff circle earlier in this game, but their fortunes are starting to change. Now they've got to change them on the scoreboard. And that is a tall order against this Pennsylvania Cup championship team. Over the line, Gawarek. Gawarek from the left circle. That save made by Herman. The rebound ultimately comes to Maxwell. Gawarek behind the Indians' goal. Shrugs off the check by Schleiper. Schleiper retaliates. Carter Hayne trying to gain separation. Concedes to Schleiper. Schleiper up the right wing. Schleiper off the side of the net. Nichols nipped that one in the bud. Collision in the far corner. Raiders win the puck battle. Garvin hits the brakes. Maxwell dumps it in. Kubastek through center for Peters Township. From distance, that save made by Nichols. The follow-up against the grain is blocked by Brown. Reyes plays it in front for LaMagna, who fires wide. Bailey to the empty center circle. Kubastek puts it into Seneca Valley territory. Raiders forced to go D to D. Outletted for Martin. Martin, trail check by Lawadi. Kubastek getting involved physically. He sends it up the boards, but right to Bailey. Bailey shooting. Herman getting a piece of that one. LaMagna bends down to retrieve his stick. Raiders keep it onside. Soroka to Kohler. Kohler right into Herman's body. Soroka unable to elevate that puck. Herman with a big save on the rebound. Avancic stood up by Brown. Indians play it out in front, but right to Soroka. Kubastek onside. Raider fans disagree, but play continues. The point moot as Martin ices this puck for Seneca Valley with 4:22 till the ice cut. Gilbert to the corner. Carter Hayne clears his own zone. Schleiper to center. Hayne peeling back. Hayne around a couple of Peters Township sticks, but he lost that puck at the Indians' line. That shot from distance by Monco was blocked. And up it'll come now to Gilbert. Gilbert near side for Reif. Reif out in front, right to Lawadi. Good read by the Peters Township back checker. Schleiper across 2 lines, intended for Dowden. It'll be icing on the Indians. Tyler Masiska putting a fresh line out there for the offensive zone faceoff. Chris Claxton countering with Ben Barrett as that puck is floated off the glove hand of Herman. From the near corner, Kubastek plays it right off of Marcus Stewart. Barrett and Stewart tied up along the near boards. Maeda late in the second period takes the hit to make the play. Barrett and Kubastek help Peters Township exit the zone. Reyes across the line. Reyes forcing the loud save from Nichols. Raiders play it up to center. Waiting is Maeda. Moreau in the corner. Floats it beyond the red line. Kubastek in pursuit under duress from Stewart. Barrett at center for Dowden. Moreau and Maxwell retreating behind the Raider goal. Moreau plays it to the ladder. Now back to Leighton Moreau. Up to center, taking it over for the Indians is Dowden. Carter Manili giving chase. Manili reversing to Kovac. Kovac behind the cage. Indians still have it. Avancic to the point. Slap shot. That's deflected wide vis-a-vis Kubastek. Monco keeps it in at left point. Final 2 minutes of second period play. Indians trying to pull one back late. Monco through a crowd. That misses. Kubastek to the rebound. Kubastek off a Seneca Valley body. It's deflected in front. Nichols doesn't know where it is. It's still loose. And it's in! The Indians jam it in with 1:40 to go. And we've got shenanigans behind Chris Nichols, but the Peters Township Indians have made it a 2-1 game, and get your popcorn ready. Welcome to the show, Dom Yossi. The freshman leads the Selly line. His first varsity goal, if that's the way they score it. Through the forest of bodies, they say he got the last stick. They're also going to say Monco and Maxwell get coincidental penalties for the scrap after the goal was scored. Nichols was never able to definitively freeze that puck. And so the Indians do cut into the deficit late. Just the 5th goal against by Seneca Valley as a team this season. Maeda off the faceoff, almost turned it over. But the Indians get it inside the Raider line. Caputo working over his man. Gilbert near side with speed, just able to stay onside was Kohler. That shot is blocked off the stick of Gilbert. Raiders keep it alive at right point. Villela through a crowd. Never made it through the crowd. It was blocked. And for the freshman, it is indeed his first Peters Township goal. Dom Yossi gets the Indians on the board late in period 2. The Indians ice this puck with 56 ticks to talk. Myers against Lawadi. LaMagna controls it for Peters Township. Avancic saw that pass come behind him. Schleiper dumps the puck. Indians tag up. LaMagna around the boards. Lawadi anticipating. Kept in by Maeda. That save made by Nichols with half a minute left in the period. Indians have the hop now after getting that first goal. Turnaround shot in front, saved by Nichols. And this time, he will leave nothing to chance. Face off to Nichols left. One to the boards for Maeda. Maeda through a crowd. That bounces in front. Nichols again has to cover atop the crease. 18 to go in the second period. And Masiska's going to send out a fresh unit. Officially, Dom Yossi unassisted for Peters Township as he opens up his varsity account for the Indians. 5 seconds left, giving chase LaMagna. He's got to hurry. LaMagna to the goal, swiped aside by Nichols. And with that buzzer in mind, we will cut the ice here inside the Galaxy rink at the Baierl Toyota Ice Complex. Players still having words with one another as they exit on opposite sides of the grandstand, with the Seneca Valley Raiders holding on to a 2-1 lead over the Peters Township Indians. I'm Matt Popchock. You're watching PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the D'Angelo Foundation.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Caputo plays it off Maxwell. Caputo persisting. He's taken down. Penalty coming up on the Raiders. Cooler, high and wide. Bailey, and deflects in! It was tipped in front. The Raiders have taken a 1-0 lead with 3:48 remaining in the first period. Soroka got the last stick on it. Gets it deep for Peters Township. Maxwell takes it over, but turned it over to Lawadi. Lawadi from an angle. Nichols closed down the angle and deflected it out of play. Matters into his own hands. Stewart has to hurry. He'll set up Moreau. Moreau sends it. Saved by Herman right before the buzzer. And officials, he's coming into this game. Kovac with a steal, Indians with numbers. Kovac shooting on Nichols. He makes that save, and it comes out the other end. Disarray at center as the Indians go after this puck. And a lead pass to LaMagna. LaMagna to the goal. Misses to the near post. To Lindbergh. Gilbert slips around Maeda. Gilbert to the goal. Good poke check there by Herman. The follow-up is put in! Carson Lindbergh on the follow-up. And why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer. Watson across the attacking line. Dropping for Fada. And a penalty coming up against Peters Township. It's having trouble clearing it. Raiders take it back. Turnaround shot. Gilbert puts it off Herman, and he gets the rebound. Herman makes that save. And it goes up into the protective netting behind the Peters Township netminder. Magna tied up in the circle. Maxwell with the point. for Hain. Going down Soroka, another penalty coming up against the Indians. Indians down but not out. Rife keeping this puck for the Raiders. And we get a stoppage as Kubastek and Gawarek are tied up, and Gawarek's going to go, and Kubastek, I think, is going to as well. Indians with a possible 2-on-1 here. Caputo, Yossi shooting. Nichols says, LaMagna bends down to retrieve his stick. Raiders keep it onside. Soroka to Kohler. Kohler right into Herman's body. Soroka unable to elevate that puck. Herman with a big save on the rebound. Now that misses. Kubastek to the rebound. Kubastek off a Seneca Valley body. It's deflected in front. Nichols doesn't know where it is. It's still loose. And it's in! The Indians jam it in with 1:40 to go. A minute left in the period. Indians have the hop now after getting that first goal. Turnaround shot in front, saved by Nichols. And this time, he will leave nothing to chance. Off to Nichols' left. One to the boards for Maeda. Maeda through a crowd. That bounces in front. Nichols again has to cover atop the crease. 5 seconds left. Giving chase LaMagna. He's got to hurry. LaMagna to the goal. Swiped aside by Nichols.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
Gonna get out, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair. Pass Cunningham. Here comes Cunningham between the defenders. Cunningham. Score! Ethan Cunningham! Hat trick! Game-winning goal! The Ramblers win the 2025 2A Penguins Cup! And Ethan Cunningham is a local hero! Gonna get out, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair.
Hewitt creating space. Hewitt turning.
Scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play in triple overtime. And don't ever play Lady of Spain again.
Ah, look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. You utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's official health insurance marketplace. How can I help?
Would preventative care and screenings be an option?
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest cost on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
James D'Angelo was a former Peters Township and California Vulcans hockey player who embodied many valuable traits, but tragically lost his life in an electronic drowning accident in 2021. The James D'Angelo Foundation has been created as a system of support for his family, and your support has made a difference, including $10,000 for the ESD Prevention Association and thousands more for the Peters Township Hockey Association and its locker room renovation project. Visit jamesdangelo.weebly.com to give what you are able to today. Matt Popchock back here at the Baierl Toyota Ice Complex in Warrendale on Halloween Eve for this standalone edition of PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the D'Angelo Foundation. The Peters Township Indians with some momentum in that second period, and a slight edge in shots on goal for that matter. 15-13 game totals. Seneca Valley Raiders 24, Indians 20. Where it counts, the Raiders lead the Indians 2-1. Freshman Damiosi's first PIHL varsity goal, offsetting an early second period marker by Carson Lindbergh. The teams a combined 3 of 3 on the penalty kill, with Peters Township killing off a crucial two-man advantage midway through that second frame before getting the goal by Yossi. Raiders looking for win number 5 in a row to start their season here on home ice, but playing their second of 4 straight in the Baierl complex, 5 of their next 6 here at Baierl. They've still got work to do. Kubistek with a dump in as the teams resume play on this freshly cut ice inside the Galaxy rink. Carter Hain from behind his own goal. Double team quickly. Hain persisting beyond the reach of Cooler. Martin takes a slash on the hands and retaliates now. And we're going to get a penalty coming up as LaMagna gives him a little who me. The coincidental minor penalties to Monco and Maxwell, meanwhile, are over. And the Indians are going back on the penny power play. Or are they? Lawadi going off for the high stick to negate the slashing minor. So strike that thought. Chris Claxon putting a fresh line out for the face-off. It certainly feels like a playoff game, given the talent on both benches, given the coaching acumen on both benches, given the low score, given the tight score, and given the fact that it's gotten chippy from the middle of that second period on. Puck out of play, and it lands beside the Seneca Valley bench. Raiders win the faceoff and send it around the boards. Lindbergh to center. Angelo Maeda with a dump in. Martin, the one who picked up the slashing minor. Lindbergh unable to settle it down with his glove. Maeda from center point. Pinballs it off the boards, but right to Leighton Moreau. Moreau turned it over to Yossi. Yossi misplayed it, trying to move the puck out in front. Carter Manaley turning around and firing off one of the Raiders. Good gap control there by Villela. Maeda, in the nick of time, gets rid of it. Gwarek gets back up, still has this puck, fires into the hand of Anthony Herman. Lindbergh without his lid as the whistle sounds. Tyler Masiska, second-year head coach from that Seneca Valley class of 2010, continuing to shuffle lines and do so fluidly. Raiders control this face-off. Down low for Reif. From the side of the net, Herman had to be ready. Maxwell going after it. Collides with Caputo. Schleiper from his own corner. Inadvertently into the Peters Township bench. Maxwell off the face-off. From Myers. Raiders have to reset at center. Maxwell dumps it in. Herman watches it go by. Raiders first to the puck. Monco beyond Maxwell and everybody else. It's icing on Peters Township. A pregnant pause here before this face-off in Peters Township ice. As Myers and his line are coming off for the change. Gilbert finally able to line up as they drop the puck. Carter Schaub out there for the first time tonight for Chris Claxon. And Schaub watches Soroka play it beyond the Peters Township blue line. Schleiper in stride off a Raiders stick. It bounds to Avancic. Indians dump it in behind the Raiders net. It comes there right to Brown. Gilbert with it now for Seneca Valley. Kohler driving the net, but tied up by Monco. LaMagna gets around Watson. LaMagna, centering pass. Off 1 foot, the shot is stopped by Nichols. A good save there on Schaub. Schaub for Avancic. Avancic. That centering pass was blocked by Brown. Maeda unable to keep it in. The net behind Nichols dislodged, so we get a whistle. The muckers and grinders out there for Peters Township in a one-goal game. Barrett taking the face-off between Reyes and Nath. That shot hit Nath in front. Played right to the stick of Villela. Moreau, the left side D-man, plays it just outside the Seneca line. Myers from his own corner for Villela. Villela turning it over to Barrett. That pass out in front. Nichols ready to make that save at the near post. Maeda in pursuit, icing on Seneca Valley. 4 minutes into period 3. Off the draw, controlled by the Indians, deflected in front. Nichols almost had that dribble in behind him. Monco firing wide from the side of the net. It's fired wide again. Nichols makes a save. It's still loose. Played out in front, and it deflects in! Blake Avancic pings it off Nichols. The Indians have tied the game at 2, and these pretzels are making me thirsty. 12:41 remaining in regulation. Avancic gets a bounce. The Croatian sensation with goal number 2 on his junior year. And how do you like that? That save made by Nichols off a deflection from the goal scorer, Avancic. And officially, it's an unassisted goal, just like Yossi's. Shots now even, the game now even, with 12:25 remaining. Maeda off the face-off win by Peters Township. On Nichols, right into that SV crest, and he'll hold on. Peters Township, you got to give them credit, not panicking down 2 to a team with a reputation for being able to lock down games with leads big and small. And they've got a brand new lease on life with still a lot of time left. 2-2 your score. Raiders control this face-off and break it out to center. Reif on the backhand. And it's been a lunch pail kind of effort for Peters Township tonight. Neither of their goals to this point you're going to see in a museum anywhere. Just a gritty play by Yossi late in the second, and Avancic just throws a puck out in front and catches the right piece of Chris Nichols' equipment and ends up in the back of the net. Kohler takes the check from Manili, and play stops immediately as the gate to the away locker room became dislodged as a result of the hit. Caputo leads the rush for Peters Township. Stood up by Villela. Manili on goal. That save made by Nichols, with Kovac hunting the rebound. Soroka outletting for Moreau. Moreau off of Peters Township body. Schleiper right in his path. Kovac controls it for the Indians. Near side for Caputo. Caputo shooting off one of the Raiders. That's Villela. Kovac chases the deflection. Moreau from his own corner, trying to use the boards to his advantage, but it comes, that puck bounces just over the stick of Zach Manili. First appearance for the elder Manili this season. False face-off. Lawadi will try again, but Myers wins it. Hain to the half wall. Now back to Carter Hain. Maeda in the corner. Lawadi up to LaMagna. Lawadi lost it to Garvin at center. Kubastek dumps it in on the backhand. Maxwell turns it over. Indians from behind the net. The backdoor play is missed. Turnaround shot. Nichols gets a piece of that shot by Avancic. Maeda, and Kubastek, the defensive duo for Chris Claxton's Peters Township Indians. That saucer pass a little too strong for LaMagna. Claxton wants to make a line change now. Turned over to Reyes, but he couldn't hang on to it. Almost a dangerous giveaway there by Carter Hain. Garvin's shot denied by Herman. Played up to center by Naff. Raiders send it back in. Kubastek from behind his own cage. Bailey, near side for Reif. Warwick near side. Reyes. Good stick there by Gilbert. Monco has to go fetch. Monco chased by Reif. Puck out of play in Peters Township territory. Indians with a 7-2 shot advantage here in period 3, and they've tied this game at 2. Seneca Valley, winners of 12 straight across all competitions against PIHL opponents dating back to last season. The front runners in Class 3A to start this season, Peters Township, not far behind, looking for a big statement win early in their campaign. The Indians humbled by the Raiders last month in the PIHL Charities Tournament Final. Their last meaningful meeting, February 4th at Princescape Arena. A 1-0 goalie goal victory by Chris Nichols and the Raiders. Carter Hain had the winning goal in the first meeting. He set up the winning goal in that second meeting. Icing on Peters Township. Soroka and Manili, the combatants, to Herman's right. Manili wins that confrontation. Raiders under pressure deep in their own zone. Bailey pivots. One of the officials lost an edge in Seneca Valley ice, but is no worse for the wear as Bailey plays it one more time. One touch pass to Soroka. Soroka 1 against 2. Taken over by Carter Manili. Raiders complete the line change. Villela off of Soroka. Soroka cutting his losses and coming off for another Seneca Valley change midway through this final period of regulation. Peters Township's tied this game at 2 with Seneca Valley on the only goal of period 3 by Blake Avancic. Maxwell from center red. Kubastek to the corner. Manili putting it on goal. Zach Manili, that is. Watches Nichols settle that one down. Maxwell offside with Lindbergh. Zach Manili and Luke Myers going at it as the Indians control this puck in their own zone. Maeda for Caputo. Caputo ices it for the visitors. Warwick taking on Zach Manili this time. And Manili's going to get waived. He pleads his case, but Caputo's going to have to take the draw. Gilbert off the faceoff. Herman ready with the blocker hand. Monco dumps it in underneath the stick of Nichols. Zach Manili plays it behind the net. Caputo to the point, near side Monco. Monco off a body. Gwarek taking one for the team, and it goes out of play. Ethan Reif and Tyler Maxwell talking things over before this face-off, which is won by their line mate, Jake Gilbert. Gilbert playing it off the glass right to Brendan Monco. No icing after the Peters Township dump in. Maxwell quickly to Carter Hayne. Gilbert keeps his feet. And forcing the turnover, Lawadi. LaMagna skating wide. LaMagna from an angle. That save made by Nichols. And he's got the rebound. Soroka against Lawadi to Nichols' left. Indians win it. Kubastek from the point. Nichols saw that one. Brown out for Kohler. Kohler flagged down by Avancic, but the Raiders still have this puck. Kohler in the corner for Seneca Valley. Dropping it, intended for Bailey, but right there for Peters Township is Avancic. Avancic knocked down from behind. Play continues. Bailey trying to outlet for Kohler. That pass was intercepted. Raiders going D to D, and now playing it off Carter Manili. Soroka takes it off the bounce, and it comes eventually to Dowden. Dowden chased down by Martin. Dowden backhands it wide. Carter Manili fighting for possession, but Kohler clears it back to center. Maeda from behind his own net. Seneca in the middle of a change. Icing on Peters. Monco and Schleiper, the defensive pairing out there for Peters Township. Carter Manili wins the faceoff. Dowden lost it at his feet. Raiders get this puck deep. Monco, pin against the boards. Raiders have it. Villela couldn't catch up to that one. Indians trying to use the boards to their advantage. Watson hit from behind by Dowden. Keeps his feet. Indians now are able to use that glass to get it back to center. Villela from his own corner. Final 5 minutes of third period play. Indians and Raiders, a couple of Class 3A heavyweights tied at 2. Outlet pass too strong for Avancic. Another icing call on the Indians. Gilbert goes forward off the face-off. Herman hugging that far post as the Indians get the clear. Maxwell watches it go up to Gwarek. Rife with a shot that forces the loud save by Anthony Herman. Lawadi in transition for the Indians. Tries to center it for LaMagna. LaMagna to the corner. Lawadi digging for it. It comes free to Kovac. Lawadi, cross ice, too strong for Schleiper. Schleiper retreating, Rife pursuing aggressively. Indians play it quickly inside the Raider line. Raiders send it right back. Monco, intended for Kovac, sent the other direction by Kohler. Monco trying again. Martin breaking up that outlet pass. Villela almost gave it away to Caputo. Villela under pressure now from Zach Manili. Kovac has it for Peters Township to Manili. Near side, Kohler up the right wing boards, trying to get around Kubastek. Maeda trying to provide some help. Raiders have it. In the corner, it'll come to Martin. Behind the net. And Herman makes that save at the far post. Raiders with some quick puck movement, but not quick enough to fool the Baldwin transfer. And Peters Township again is forced to ice it as we approach the final 3 of period 3. You just don't want, if you're Chris Claxon, for one of these own zone faceoffs to finally come back to haunt you. Raiders, as we said, were dominant on faceoffs early in the game, but seemingly that has leveled off since. Carter Hayne looking things over late in regulation. Kohler slips it up to Soroka. Soroka gets around Maeda. Soroka from the near boards. Stood up calmly by Yossi. Yossi deflects it inside Seneca territory. That says a lot about him, that his coach has a freshman out there this late in a tie game. Drop pass to Myers. To the corner it'll come to Kubastek. Yossi up the boards and back to center. Myers and Villela reset for the Raiders. Watson across the line. Indians lock down that wing and they send this puck out of play. Gilbert wins it from Lawadi, but the Indians are first to the loose puck. Off the boards to Gawarek, but the Raiders are offside. And those two are going to go at it again for the face-off. This time the Indians control it definitively. Monco dumps it in. Nichols leaves his net to play it for Villela. Villela up the left wing boards. Turned over to Avancic, but he gives it right back to Gilbert. LaMagna off the home bench. Raiders up to center for Reif. Reif takes a couple of whacks there from Lawadi before he gets it up ahead to Brown. Correction, that's Gilbert. Gilbert's initial shot blocked. Now in front it'll come, and it deflects wide. Oh, the Raiders had a man right on Herman's doorstep. That was Reif, but they couldn't get him the puck. Penalty coming up now with 65 ticks to talk, a holding call. LaMagna gets an attaboy from his captain. Peters Township getting a penny power play for the remainder of regulation. Now Chris Claxon will use his timeout. We'll step aside as well in a 2-2 game. Peters Township and Seneca Valley on TenbandTV.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
And so the plot thickens here at the Baierl Toyota Ice Complex in Warrendale. 1:05 remaining, 2-2 game. Peters Township back to the penny power play for the second time tonight. Monco unable to keep it inside the line. Raiders catch a break. Holding the indication against Gawarek. The guilty party for Seneca Valley. Good job by Moreau at center to cut off that lead pass. Moreau trying to kill time off the penalty clock, and he's doing fine work there on Avancic, but eventually it does come free, and the Indians have it. Half a minute to play in regulation. Lawadi behind his own net, taking his time. Jake Lawadi through center, intended for LaMagna. LaMagna there. LaMagna unable to get past Martin. The Raiders clear it. Soroka does the yeoman's work. 10 seconds left. To center it comes. Good stick by Moreau. And so we will head to the D'Angelo Foundation overtime here on PIHL Hockey Night Live with your score at the end of regulation. Peters Township Indians 2, Seneca Valley Raiders 2. And while we keep it here, we want to remind you to remember the 6th of November, because that is when PIHL Hockey Night Live will return to TenbandTV after this evening. And we will return to the Mount Lebanon Ice Center for a doubleheader next Thursday night. South Park visiting Class A power Chartiers Valley at 7:10. And an interesting nightcap in AAA. Upper St. Clair at South Fayette at 9:10. Panthers already own a 4-2 win over the Lions. So those two will be concluding their regular season series. And last year, South Fayette had to beat USC in the Ice Castle on the last day of the regular season to guarantee themselves a Penguins Cup playoff spot, and look what they did with it. They sure gave this Seneca Valley team a run for their money. Tyler Masiska can attest to that. And the Raiders at the moment have their hands full with these pesky Peters Township Indians as the goalies have switched sides. Indians begin the overtime on a 4-on-3 penny power play. Gwarek in the sin bin for 55 more seconds. Peters has this puck. Monco hitting the brakes to Lawadi. Lawadi, near side, Schleiper. Schleiper shooting on Nichols, and he makes the save. Shots on goal even at 29. 43 to go on the Peters power play. Raiders ice it legally. Herman leaves it for Schleiper. Up it comes to Monco. Monco from the circle. Nichols got a piece with his glove. Schleiper going after it. Monco settles it down. Monco to the boards for Lawadi, for Schleiper. Schleiper for Brendan Monco. Monco tees it up, shoots. Nichols got a piece of that. It floats in behind the goal. Raiders trying to protect the puck, and they'll send it around the boards beyond Schleiper. Seneca Valley's killed it off. Gwarek goes right to the bench. Lawadi to LaMagna. LaMagna in behind the goal. LaMagna taken out of the play calmly by Moreau, but gets it to the point for Maeda. LaMagna with it again for the Indians. Near side, Kubastek. Kubastek too heavy for LaMagna. Raiders have this puck near the midpoint of overtime. Martin going to the net. The save made by Herman. The rebound is sitting there. Kubastek controls it. It was there for the taking. Martin just couldn't take it. And credit Kubastek for making the defensive play. Lawadi, after taking his time, gets it up to Avancic. Avancic, hip check by Valella. Raiders with it from their own zone. Teams will play 4-on-4 until the next whistle. Martin has it. Herman the kick save. Indians have the rebound. All the Raiders were behind the play as Avancic counterattacks for Peters Township. Good stick by Martin. Final minute of the OT. Lead pass intended for Reif. Carter Manili there. Avancic lost it to Moreau. Moreau right man. Moreau shooting. Oh, what a save by Herman. To the point for Hain. Hain centers it for Reif. Reif to the corner. 35 seconds left. Reif for Hain. Carter Hain peeling back. Hain to the man just on. That's Bailey. Bailey to Carter Hain. Hain shooting. Saving is Herman. Manili to the boards with a rebound. 20 to go in OT. Turned over to Reif. One last chance maybe for the Raiders if they hurry. 13 to go. Reif over the line. Bailey stayed on side. Gilbert has it. Gilbert shoots off a stick. I'll take that. Thank you very much, says Mr. Herman. Seven ticks to talk in sudden victory overtime. And so finally we get some standard 3-on-3 overtime play. Raiders off the face-off to the side of the net. Gilbert just missing. Seneca Valley that close. Gilbert has to hurry and shoot. It's blocked by Schleiper. To the D'Angelo Foundation shootout we go. 54 minutes of hockey, not enough. Well, both teams with a hard-earned point here tonight in Warrendale. Who's going to get the extra one, though? We've had 3-on-3 NHL-style overtime. Now we have a 3-round NHL-style shootout to decide a winner. Those who chose to stick around from the NA Franklin game next door spilling over into the tunnel area to watch this game conclude. And wherever you're watching, we're grateful you could be with us as well here on Halloween Eve. Peters Township will have the honor, and Eric Schleiper will shoot first. Schleiper across the line to the goal. Nichols was ready. The glass behind him was ready. Whoever touched it first, the bottom line is it stayed out. Soroka in the bottom of round one, shooting first for the Raiders. He scored in regulation, and he rings the bar in the shootout. One of the Raiders' top guns finding metal but not mesh. To round two we go. Avancic, the one responsible for extending this game, will shoot for the Indians. Lost the puck on the deke. To the bottom of round two. It is Gilbert to shoot for Seneca Valley. And he'll take his time. Gilbert slowly to the goal. Score! And the Raiders are a Chris Nichols save away from remaining unbeaten. Can he slam the door on Jake Lawadi? Yes, he does! Nichols is money in the shootout. Jake Gilbert with the only goal. 1-0 Raiders in the shootout. 3-2 Seneca Valley wins this game over the Peters Township Indians. And some richly deserved hockey hugs for the Seneca Valley netminder. Officially, 28 saves for him. Officially, 32 for Herman, who played very well in a losing effort for Peters Township, which picks up a point tonight. They have 10 now on the year. The Raiders, who have won their first 5 games, and for the first time win after regulation this season, they now have 14 points to stay atop Class 3A. Thank you, Todd Kazarowski. Thank you, Michael Lyman and the Four Seasons. Thank you for watching and listening. Happy Halloween, Greater Pittsburgh, and we'll see you next week. I'm Matt Popchock, and that's all she wrote from Warrendale for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Caputo plays it off Maxwell. Caputo persisting. He's taken down. Penalty coming up on the Raiders. Kohler, high and wide. Bailey, it deflects in! It was tipped in front. The Raiders have taken a 1-0 lead with 3:48 remaining in the first period. Soroka got the last stick on it. Gets it deep for Peters Township. Maxwell takes it over, but turned it over to Lawadi. Lawadi from an angle. Nichols closed down the angle and deflected it out of play. Matters into his own hands. Stewart has to hurry. He'll set up Moreau. Moreau sends it. Saved by Herman right before the buzzer. And officials, he's coming into this game. Kovac with a steal. Indians with numbers. Kovac shooting on Nichols. He makes that save, and it comes out the other end. Disarray at center as the Indians go after this puck. And a lead pass to LaMagna. LaMagna to the goal. Misses to the near post. To Lindbergh. Gilbert slips around Maeda. Gilbert to the goal. Good poke check there by Herman. The follow-up is put in! Carson Lindbergh on the follow-up. And why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer. Watson across the attacking line. Dropping for Fada. And a penalty coming up against Peters Township. It's having trouble clearing it. Raiders take it back. Turnaround shot. Gilbert puts it off Herman, and he gets the rebound. Herman makes that save. And it goes up into the protective netting behind the Peters Township netminder. Magna tied up in the circle. Maxwell with the point for Hain. Going down Soroka, another penalty coming up against the Indians. Indians down but not out. Rife keeping this puck for the Raiders. And we get a stoppage as Kubastek and Gawarek are tied up, and Gawarek's going to go, and Kubastek, I think, is going to as well. Indians with a possible 2-on-1 here. Caputo, Yossi shooting. Nichols says, LaMagna bends down to retrieve his stick. Raiders put on side. Soroka to Kohler. Kohler right into Herman's body. Soroka unable to elevate that puck. Herman with a big save on the rebound. Now that misses. Kubastek to the rebound. Kubastek off a Seneca Valley body. It's deflected in front. Nichols doesn't know where it is. It's still loose. And it's in! The Indians jam it in with 1:40 to go. A minute left in the period. Indians have the hop now after getting that first goal. Turnaround shot in front, saved by Nichols. And this time, he will leave nothing to chance. Off to Nichols' left. One to the boards for Maeda. Maeda through a crowd. That bounces in front. Nichols again has to cover atop the crease. 5 seconds left. Giving chase LaMagna. He's got to hurry. LaMagna to the goal. Swiped aside by Nichols. Time gets rid of it. Gawarek gets back up. Still has this puck. Fires into the hand of Anthony Herman. LaMagna gets around Watson. LaMagna, centering pass. Off 1 foot, the shot is stopped by Nichols. A good save there on Schaub. Off the draw, controlled by the Indians, deflected in front. Nichols almost had that dribble in behind him. Monco firing wide from the side of the net. It's fired wide again. Nichols makes a save. It's still loose. Played out in front, and it deflects in! Blake Avancic pings it off Nichols. The Indians have tied the game at 2, and these pretzels are making me thirsty. And forcing the turnover, Lawadi. LaMagna skating wide. LaMagna from an angle. That save made by Nichols, and he's got the rebound. Lawadi, before he gets it up ahead to Brown. Correction, that's Gilbert. Gilbert's initial shot blocked. Now in front it'll come, and it deflects wide. Had a man right on Herman's doorstep. That was Rife, but they couldn't get him the puck. Penalty coming up now with 65 ticks to talk, a holding call. This puck, Monco hitting the brakes to Lawadi. Lawadi, near side, Schleiper. Schleiper shooting on Nichols, and he makes the save. Raiders have this puck near the midpoint of overtime. Martin going to the net. The save made by Herman. The rebound is sitting there. Kubastek controls it. Minute of the OT. Lead pass intended for Rife. Carter Manili there. Avancic lost it to Moreau. Moreau right man. Moreau shooting. Oh, what a save by Herman. Hain to the man just on. That's Bailey. Bailey to Carter Hain. Hain shooting. Saving is Herman. Manili to the boards with the rebound. Maybe for the Raiders if they hurry. 13 to go. Rife over the line. Bailey stayed on side. Gilbert has it. Gilbert shoots off a stick. I'll take that. Thank you very much, says Mr. Herman. Standard 3-on-3 overtime play. Raiders off the face-off to the side of the net. Gilbert just missing. Seneca Valley that close. Gilbert has to hurry and shoot. It's blocked by Schleiper. To the D'Angelo Foundation shootout we go. 54 minutes of hockey, not enough. The line is it stayed out. Soroka in the bottom of round one, shooting first for the Raiders. He scored in regulation, and he rings the bar in the shootout. It is Gilbert to shoot for Seneca Valley. And he'll take his time. Gilbert slowly to the goal. Score! And the Raiders. Yes, he does! Nichols is money in the shootout. 1-0 Raiders in the shootout. 3-2 Seneca Valley wins this game over the Peters Township Indians. And some richly deserved hockey hugs for the Seneca Valley.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.